Hello, YouTube world. I hadn't done an update about the cat situation in a long time, so I just thought I would do that today. So, the lease was up on the apartments, and after that inspection, I didn't want to do another lease and, have to go through all that again. And I felt like it was only a matter of time before I got busted and got kicked out for having the cats, anyways. And then at the same time, at 54 years old, I really felt like I was just spinning my wheels, and all my money from my work was basically going to pay for the apartment bills with hardly anything left over. So I decided just to move out, and my plan was to try. I had this old pop-up trailer, and I was going to try to boondock it. And then so I took the cats, loaded everything up, and I thought that I would try to find a better way of life, and I was tired of living in Salt Lake City. The air quality's horrible here. The traffic is just, it makes it really hard to get around. It's really frustrating. You end up spending a big chunk of your life just driving and waiting in traffic. And so, anyways, I thought it would be cool to go to California and try to do something in the cannabis industry, because I thought maybe my girlfriend could be a trimmer. Her feet and knees aren't great, and so I thought, oh, she could just sit there and trim cannabis, but so we went out to Eureka, California. I was hoping that it would be a cooler place than it was, with more free camping and that kind of thing. And but it turned out to be not really like that at all. And there was really nowhere to stay. And it just, I don't know, the one place that we looked at for maybe doing the cannabis trimming seemed kind of sketchy or something. So then I thought, well, what about Oregon? So I went to Crescent Beach, Oregon, and it was kind of the same thing there. But I really should get back to the cats, because that's what this was about. So anyway, I still had the cats that whole time. It was really hard trying to keep care of them. And anyway, things didn't work out. I didn't find anywhere better to be. I had some work here in Salt Lake City. So after 2 weeks on the road, I abandoned my boondocking life of freedom and living in paradise plan, and came back here to Salt Lake City. And then after a short amount of time, under pressure from a lot of other people, including my parents and just people in general, when they found out that I had 8 cats, they were like, are you crazy? You gotta have to get rid of the cats. But I still didn't want to. But one day I got really frustrated, and I decided to try to get rid of some cats. So I took them to like a local shelter. I took 4. Well, I was gonna take 4 to a local shelter, but one of them got away before I could get him in the car, and so only 3 ended up going. And so I took Cheeky Baby, Rubia, and Otto to the shelter, and the experience was just absolutely horrible. And in fact, Rubia escaped when we were trying to put her in the thing. The gal had left one of the openings open in the cage, and the cat escaped in the parking lot and took off. And then we couldn't find it. They said they were going to try to trap it, but who knows what happened. I kind of think she crawled up under a 4-wheel drive truck that was sitting there, and God knows what happened to her then. But when I was doing the paperwork, they tell you that you can't even check back to find out what happened to the cat, or what, the status is. And that part was kind of okay, but I started to kind of break down and, get emotional there. But then when I got back, we had a storage unit to my girlfriend. She was just absolutely crushed. And so I decided then that it really wasn't worth just crushing her spirits and everything, and then to try to continue life on the road with somebody who's all broken up about the cats was actually worse than trying to take care of those cats, So I felt like it was just another error in judgment which seems to be my specialty over the past few months. So anyway, I decided not to get rid of the 5 that I had left, that I would just, I wouldn't part with them until, either the car broke down and we were on the road and they just didn't, that we both ended up on foot, and then the cats wouldn't have anywhere to be. And so anyways, I have this car that keeps breaking down, this BMW X5 that was like, this guy has like 260,000 miles on it, but we were staying in that, and you would think it would be impossible, but the cats really only require a big litter box and food and water, and then and then letting them out once in a while. We got lucky and we found a spot, a storage unit that happened to have like a secret corner where there was like trees and everything, and so I could let the cats out and they could kind of roam around during the day and hide in the plants and stuff like that, and then they would just load back up at night. So had been doing that with them like every 3 or 4 days, so they would at least get out. And I had no idea things would drag on for this long. That really wasn't my intention. I thought I'd be able to turn things around, get us another place to live, find a better place to live. So anyway, so then the BMW, the drive shaft went out on it. It's actually, and then, so I had to just park it up in the storage, but luckily I had this old Ford camper van truck. Just an old F-250 with this camper on the back of it, camper shell type of deal. But it had water damage and mold and stuff, so it's really not even a proper place to live, but that's all we had. So took all our gear out of the X5, put it in this old truck, and then we've been living in this old truck for the past 2 weeks now. And this is actually we've been on the road now for almost like 80 days or something, which has turned out to be really tough. Like, I haven't had a shower for 4 days. It's hard to find a place to shower. I'd found a few places, but they're always closed for one reason or another. Sometimes I'll heat up some water and mix it in a bucket and just dump it over myself with like a solo cup or whatever. And it's actually not a bad experience, but if it's cold out, or if you haven't managed to get yourself some fresh water, and then you gotta kind of have a privacy to do it, so then you gotta, it's hard to find places to get yourself showered, even if you have your own water ready to dump over yourself, and then using the bathroom is a big challenge. The cats are actually the easiest part of the situation. So I still have the cats, but now the new challenge is I'm a carpenter, and I've managed to line up a few jobs, but because of the heat, well, it's raining today, but because of the heat, I can't just leave my girlfriend and the cats in the sun. We have to find shade constantly, and I've been really lucky about finding one shady spot or another shady spot. So the goal every day is really to find shade, to try to figure out what we're going to eat, where we're going to shower, where we can use the bathroom. And luckily we haven't gotten sick or anything, and no diarrhea in the night or anything like that. But yeah, it's extremely difficult living on the road. Like, I would say, if you had good transportation and a good camper, but like this old truck, when it didn't have windshield wipers, the dash lights or the headlights didn't work, so I've been trying to work on it and get those things fixed while we were on the road, which seems like that wouldn't be bad. But if you get in over your head, or your repair doesn't work, then you're sort of stuck. So there's some things the truck needs that I can't really get into until I get the X5 fixed, which is supposed to happen soon. But I know it's really about, what I was saying was, it's hard to work and keep care of the cats at the same time. So I went I left him at the storage unit one day, kept one with us. We went, and I was able to work and get in like an 8-hour day, and then go back and get the cats, load them up. But that took a lot of driving. Then I didn't have time to even try to figure out a shower situation, and so but yeah, so I guess where things stand at now is I'm clueless about like I have some more work lined up, but I don't know where to put the cats, while I'm at work, if there's no shade, which it happens both these spots didn't have any shade. And then with the windows open on the camper, I covered them with screen, but there's a lot of walkers in the morning, especially people out walking, like nosy people, and they're always afraid some guy like me will come moving in their neighborhood anyways. So, you get that feeling of like, oh, Jesus, man, you don't want the cats' heads peering out, or they'll call either the police or animal control. And then if they were to show up, then I would probably, I don't know how I would handle that, But, anyways, that's the update on the cat circus. It's just that, we're on the road. I really have no clue. We're running out of money. There's lots of work, but how to keep the cats and go to work is the problem. I thought about, well, maybe a night job, because then they could be in the parking lot. There wouldn't be any sun, and then that's possible. And so I just don't even know, but I'm still trying, and I've decided to try to hang on to them as long as I can. So, well, that's the cat circus update.